Hi everybody, it's me again. I'm like an old penny, keep turning up. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to do another video until Friday when I was going to do a weigh-in, but I'm having a crisis of confidence. And I'm going to tell you why. I've told you that I'm going to be moving to a ketogenic diet when I was sort of getting down to my last stone. The books that I ordered came. The Real Meal Revolution, The Radical Sustainable Approach to Healthy Eating. This is really good because it actually has loads of recipes in it, as well as a discussion on, the whole diet concept, or the whole, eating regime concept. But it's got loads. So this is going to be sort of like a cookbook for me. Loads of stuff in there. Really good stuff. The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Techholtz. The Big Fat Surprise. Haven't managed to read this yet, but the reviews on Amazon were fantastic. But I'm really looking forward to reading this. Again, goes into the evidence behind the low carb, high fat diet, and also how we got into the state of the high fat, the low fat, high carb diet. The book I'm reading at the moment has been a revelation for me. It's by Gary Taubes, okay, and again, you can find lots of his speeches on YouTube as well. He's done 3 books, The Diet Delusion, Good Calories, Bad Calories, and I think it's, what's it called? What Makes Us Fat. Hang on, I'll get it at the beginning here, which is probably his most well-known book. And it's actually not in here. This must have been one of his first ones or one of his first books, and then obviously the other one has come after it. But basically it's What Makes Us Fat and How to Deal with It, or why we get fat and how to deal with it, or something. And if you go on YouTube, like I say, Gary Taubes, you'll find loads of this. But this has frightened the life out of me. In a good way, I think. But I'm reading it, and the first section goes through the fat cholesterol hypothesis. And it's basically a study on the research that has been done to date. So basically what he's doing is he's going back over all the research and all the conclusions that were made from that research, and how it has gone into mainstream, some of the erroneous conclusions. In fact, some of the inferences from conclusions which don't actually match the inference, if that makes sense. So somebody says something, and then someone comes along and says, well, I'm going to interpret it my way, even though it's completely opposite to what you're saying. And I think we believe we have one chap, Ansel Keys, to thank for the entire low-fat fad, which I'm now calling it a fad, the low-fat fad. None of the research on obesity that's been conducted so far is showing any correlation to low fat, coronary disease, and diabetes and stuff like that. Having a low fat diet is not contributing to the health of the nation. So it frightened me. I'm not even through it yet, and it's frightened me because I'm looking at carbs in a whole new light. And now I've got all these shakes that have about 12 to 15 grams of carbs in them. And I'm afraid to touch them, which is really silly because I'm supposed to be on this VLCD diet. But the more I get the rationale behind this. I get the rationale about putting myself into ketosis. I just don't like the amount of carbs that are contained in here now. So I'm having to go into the new ketogenic diet earlier than I wanted to, and it's frightening the life out of me, I have to say. I'm probably going to stick to 1 sachet per day as a breakfast or an evening supper or something. But pretty much all my carbs are going to be contained in this, or maybe a bit of leafy greens or something as well. So the rest of my diet until these are all finished. And I did my audit, so I've got about 4 weeks left. It was actually a 6-week batch that I got, not an 8-week batch. So I've got about 3 to 4 weeks left. So yeah, this stuff I am moving away from because I'm frightened of it. I'm now frightened of carbs. I went into Lidl's today and I was going around all their different aisles and I was looking at it and I was going, poison, poison. That's going to poison you. That's not going to be good for you. You're not going to feel good if you touch that, which is great. Now I have to educate myself as to what is good. So I went into Lidl's today, as I said, and I had a lunch. I had a ketogenic lunch. Now, whether or not it is the best type of lunch or whatever, I don't know, but I'm still educating myself. So I'll tell you what it is. And I actually brought the packet home from work. Prosciutto di Parma. I think I had about 10 slices or something in it. 90 grams, of which around, there's about, well, in 100 grams, there's 16 grams of fat, no carbs, and 28 grams of protein. So quite high protein to fat ratio. One of the things I'm really starting to notice is, the other thing I had was that I had half a Roquefort cheese, which I love. I love all smelly cheeses, God help me. Can you notice here, I've got some cling film around this because it's still got half one in here. Can you notice the new traffic light system that they're putting on all the food sources now? Fat, saturated fat, sugars and salt. That's the 4 things. And green, obviously, it's got no carbs in this. Okay, so there's no carbs in this Rochefort. But it is, they're calling it a warning for high fat content, which is actually what we're looking for. So I am actually having to look for this sort of red, green traffic light system when I am now picking up food. I want the fat and I don't want the sugars. This one again had a nutritional value 30 grams in 100 grams, and I have taken probably half of that, about 60 grams. There in 100 grams, there's 30 grams of fat, no carbs, and 18 grams of protein. Again, a higher ratio protein to fat. One of the other things I've got for the other half of that cheese, probably for tomorrow's lunch, is another Parma ham, because I like my Parma ham. And again, I'm educating myself. So at the moment, I'm still going for the easy stuff. And I'm just looking at the traffic lights and I'm looking at the back and picking everything up at the back and I'm looking at the nutritional information. So again, 100 grams of this and there is 100 grams of it. So 16 grams of fat, less than 0.1 gram of carb, 28 grams of protein. So this is quite a high protein to fat ratio. So I'm going to need to eat a lot of fat with this. And that's the thing. That's, I think, is going to be the hard thing is, number one, allowing myself to eat and allowing myself to actually have fatty food, because it really does go against what we've been told for the last 20 odd years. So it is counterintuitive from what our learning and our education has been to date. So I'm having to break through that barrier and allow myself to eat. The other thing is obviously I'm doing it to lose weight, so I don't want to eat too much. And by virtue of just taking in so many calories that I put on the weight. So I'm almost in a paralysis stage where I don't know which way to go. I don't want to have the shakes because there's too many carbs in them. You know, there's a banana one, has 12.5 grams of carbs, which is almost, you know, half my daily allowance. If I say roughly between 20 and 25 grams of carbs a day, that takes it. 2 of those take it. I had a frothy drink in work today. I had 2. I was actually on my 3rd one whenever I actually looked in my phone about the carb content. And 2 of them, as I was making my third, 2 of them would have taken me up to my carb limit today. I actually threw the third one out and made a peppermint tea instead. At lunchtime, I brought a notepad and pen down with me and my phone with a calculator on it. And these, and worked out exactly what my macros were with these. Now on my phone, oh, that's my phone. I was going to get it and show you. My carb ratio this morning has been 1% so far. Oh no, because I've added in the frothy. No, I think it's still 1% of the total, of the absolute total. It's about 17 grams of carbs or something I've had today. About 65% has been fat and 35% roughly has been protein. So I'm eating a wee bit too much protein, but as I say, well, I'm hardly eating any carbs in that ratio, in that macro, that pie chart. So if a little bit of that protein does go to glucose, hopefully it won't make me fat. But so far I've taken about 550 calories today. That's 450 for the Parma ham and Roquefort cheese, and about 100 for the frothy, the whitener, the frothy stuff on my coffees. Now, I did go to my local farmer's market, farmer's store. There's a farm up the road from us that's turned itself into an actual shop over the number of years. It used to start off with this tiny little shop and it's now got a restaurant and everything in it. So I want to show you what I've bought so far. And this was about 26 quid. 23 quid. Right, I'm going to show you what I got for 23 quid. Okay, so a big bag of spinach, of which per 100 grams, there's 1.6 grams of carbs per 100 grams. And in this bag, there is, having a look, can't see it, it's not coming to me. Why do they never do that? Can't find the weight on this at all. What am I like? It's probably sitting there obvious. Oh, 200 grams. Right there in the corner, 200 grams. So, in this entire bag, there's 3.2 grams of carbs, right? I can live with that. Double cream. And I looked at this and per 100 mils, again, there's 1.6 grams and there's 250 mils here. So times 2.5, that is 4 grams of carbs in this entire double cream. 4 grams of carbs. And I was going to make creamed spinach and section it out for over a couple of days. With that, maybe a little bit of garlic and whatever. Again, I have to retrain myself to some brand new recipes because I honestly don't know how to cook thinking just fat the whole time, because we haven't learnt that over the last few years. We've learnt is 1 cal spray of fat just to give it a lick of, oil so that you don't use up too much oil. Low fat cheese, low fat yogurt. All these things we've been taught and it's ingrained in us. So I'm having to absolutely retrain myself. It's going to take time. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm anxious. I have to say I'm really anxious. I don't want to get fat again. I'm getting myself upset here actually thinking about it. I don't want to be fat. I really don't. I don't want this to continue. So that's why I'm trying to go this zero carbs or low carbs or whatever. So anyway, look, woohoo, back to happy self again. But that's where I am right now. I'm scared of eating in case I get myself fat again. Okay, so what's this? Organic mayonnaise, which when I looked, 100 mils has 2.3 grams of sugars. And it was made with sunflower oil, which I believe is okay, because you can make sun butter with sunflower seeds. So I'm hoping sunflower oil is good. There was some that I picked up that had rapeseed oil, which I went no, because I do believe rapeseed oil is a no-no. Pasteurized free-range whole egg, pasteurized free-range egg yolk, water, cider vinegar, bit of sugar, salt, spirit vinegar, lemon juice, mustard, flour, and sea salt. So I'm going to try and make my own mayonnaise in future, but I'm educating myself. So I haven't eaten mayonnaise in I don't know how long. Don't know how long, because again, fattening. Isn't that what we're told? Right. So then I got myself some rindless streaky bacon. So that is 454 grams. It's made with 85% pork, water, and salt. There are some preservatives and stuff in it as well. It doesn't look like to be any sugars. But again, I'm now trying to educate myself. This may not be the last time, or may not be the maybe the only time that I buy from this particular farmer. But you know, we're seeing it. 2 ribeye steaks. I asked for the fattest ones, and he looked at me. I says, no, this is my new regime. I want the fattest ribeye steaks you've got. I says, is ribeye your fattest steak? He says, yes. I says, well, I want your fattest ones of your ribeye fattest steaks. No idea what to do with them other than cook them in butter, which I'll probably have for tea for the next couple of nights. An onion. I'm going to do like wee slices. I normally just chop onion, so I actually don't know how to make sliced onion. That's embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, now my pièce de résistance, and he didn't charge me for it, bless his wee cottons. A bone with all the marrow goodness still in it. So now I have to educate myself to make a bone broth, which is why I asked him for my bone. Oh, you can really feel the marrow. That's squidgy in there. That's all good stuff. So, bone broth. Again, loads of YouTube videos on it. There's various guys out there doing the ketogenic, and and they're all built like, big muscle boys. Bless them. Very good looking. But they are, they're advocates of bone broth. In fact, actually, there is a lecture out on YouTube by this lady who goes through the science of why bone, and the entomology. Entomology, is it epidemiology? No, entomology is the origins of something, isn't it? God, don't embarrass yourself in that way. Of bone broth. So I have a bone for bone broth. Look at that. God knows what to do with it. Stick it in a bit of water. We'll learn together. So, moral of the story is, number one, it's bloody expensive. So again, I'm going to have to balance out some nice meals with some cheapy bargain bucket low carb meals. But the essence is I am moving to ketogenic earlier than I had planned, because I can't stomach the thought of ingesting carbohydrates now. I really have given myself a frightening, with reading these books. Now I'm a scientist. My degree was neuroscience, the study of the nervous system and pain. Anyway, but the study of the nervous system. Now your brain it's a wee jelly ball of fat. Your myelin sheaths are all fat. And that's what gets... Do you remember that film, Lorenzo's Oil? Do you remember that? About how this poor little boy had... can't even remember what was wrong with him, bless him. And his parents devised an oil that the child would ingest to alleviate the symptoms of his condition. And honestly, I can't remember what it was, some genetic thing. Lorenzo's oil. Oil. What am I trying to say? Fats are good for you. We should not be afraid of fats. But I'm now afraid of carbs. And I am going to have to then, I'm on a very steep learning curve now to educate myself as to how to eat properly now, given the, somebody just walked past and saw me talking to the camera. They must think I'm right. Wally. Anyway, what are we at? 20 minutes? I really wanted to do this wee update because I wanted to let you know who I am and what, I told you this is a journey. That I'm on for the long haul. Yes, I want to lose the weight tomorrow. I want to get it off as fast as I possibly can. I really do. But I've got to be true to myself as well. I've got to be true to my body, and I'm going to have to just try this. In that wee farm shop, they have the bakery section. There was all the wee sort of tray baked treats, and they have my favourite ones there. Top hats, the chocolate with a marshmallow on top and a Smartie on top of it. Wee top hats. One time I would have gone past that and picked it up with all the other wee tray bakes in it and taken that home with a cup of coffee, and that would have been it. The whole thing would have gone down. And I looked at it and I went, I can't eat you. I cannot eat you. You are poison, I'm hoping that'll last for life, like a bit like smoking or something, the day I found out I was pregnant, I gave up smoking. Now, was I a heavy smoker? No, I wasn't, I smoked with my ex-husband and I smoked socially with a beer. He always said I never bought a packet of cigarettes because I never really classed myself as a smoker, although I smoked. But the day I found out I was pregnant, that was it. I never touched another one again. But you can't do that with food because you cannot completely cut food out of your life. Well, you can if you eat these for the rest of your life, but you're only getting 130 calories per shake. So I have to retrain myself, and it's going to be difficult. I am petrified. I honestly, I can't tell you, I am absolutely, utterly petrified that I'm going to get fat on this ketogenic diet. And I know it goes against the grain. I know the science is there, but I'm afraid to eat again. I'm afraid to eat 1,000 calories or 2,000 calories a day. I'm afraid of, because logically that's what's got me fat in the first place, eating too much. But but in this book, he goes into the science of, the studies that have been about people who overeat. And overeating isn't because, people think you overeat, therefore you get fat. What they don't understand is, why are you overeating in the first place? Now what did I say in my very first video? I'm a glutton. But am I a glutton? Yes, a little bit. Or is it because I've been eating the wrong foods and therefore my body has been screaming out for the right foods and I have been satisfying it continually with the wrong foods? Now, don't get me wrong, I have eaten what I would have called perfectly homemade, from scratch meals. But they've been carbed to the hilt. With pastas and rices and grains from soup mix and stuff, barley and everything, and I would have thought I was cooking perfectly healthy food, perfectly reasonable food, but yet I was adding in the wrong stuff. So I'm on an education now. I'm on a journey. I don't know how to cook. I have no idea how to cook this food. I have to do a creamed spinach. For goodness sake, do I cook creamed spinach? I have no idea. But it came into my head. Ribeye steak. I have to throw half a pound of butter or something on it to get the fat content up. I have to make a bulletproof coffee. That's what I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Completely goes against the grain. Butter in coffee. But I'm prepared to go for it. I need to educate myself. So look, guys, the Claire's 25 minutes. I thought it was only going to be a quickie, but I needed to get this out of my system. I'm frightened. I don't know what to do, you know. I would love your support. I'd love to know that you're there, that you understand what I'm going through, because I feel very, very scared right now. But anyway, look, we'll do another catch up on Friday as normal. We'll see how the weight is. Now, I am eating again, which means I'm filling my tummy up with food. So I do expect the weight to go up by Friday, because when I'm on the VLCD, there's no food weight in the tummy. So now I'm eating again. It's not an excuse, but that's part of the fear, is that I'm eating, so I'm putting on weight. The scales aren't going down. So is it working? You know, so I'm absolutely flipping petrified, but I have to do it. I can't ingest carbs anymore, so we'll go for it. Wish me luck. I'm frightened. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Bye now.